It's time to talk about not the news. And in this case, it is a hydrogen-powered motorcycle debuted by Kawasaki Heavy Industries. So before we start the 3-minute timer and dive into our opinions on this bike, give the people a little bit of a snapshot of what happened here, Spurge.
Yeah, so this is what I think where it's more important than to just judge the book by its cover. If you were to just read the title, it would seem like Kawasaki was coming out of nowhere with a hydrogen-powered motorcycle. It's important to remember that we did talk about this in the podcast, I believe last season. There was a collaboration between Honda, Suzuki, Kawasaki, and Yamaha. They basically formed what was known as the Hydrogen Small Mobility and Engine Technology Association, HYSE for short. And under that umbrella, it was Kawasaki's job to develop and research the engine for functionality, performance, and reliability. So that's where this started from, was back in May of 23. This alliance was formed to explore hydrogen power as it relates to motorized vehicles. And the big four are collaborating together on this.
Right. And the idea is that with all four brain trusts together
and resources and
resources,
pocketbooks.
The Japanese big four will sort of make quicker progress in figuring out what makes sense to invest in and use and potentially bring to market in the future. So yeah, that's where this came from. So let's start the clock and then tell everyone what we think, because I know everyone's dying for us to dive in. So aside, with all the context that you have, Spurge, what is your take on a hydrogen powered motorcycle?
So I think the hardest part about this is fitting it in 3 minutes. I think this is extremely exciting because this is an alternative to electric vehicles. We've talked a lot about electric. Electric has a lot of issues with, working for motorcycles, whether it's range or weight or, simple battery technology.
Sure. Pulling lithium out of the earth, the same things that cars struggle with, whatever.
Exactly. I think when you look at hydrogen, it's an extremely exciting proposition. The one issue that we're seeing here is if you look at the pictures of this motorcycle, they were talking about hydrogen requires roughly double the amount of storage capacity for the same energy expulsion as fuel. So when you look at the picture from this article, and we'll put it up on the screen, what looks like the two saddlebags on the back of this Kawasaki are actually fuel cells holding all the hydrogen, and it requires double the amount of consumption of air to give you the same output as what you would mix with a regular internal combustion engine.
Right. So all that is to say, while electric vehicles have their issues, whether it's, rare metal mining or weight or range or whatever, hydrogen also has some tricky things, right? It's not a magic potion. And you got to compress it to put it on board, and it's kind of big compared to gasoline. And if the Hindenburg taught us anything, it's that hydrogen is fairly flammable, so it can be dangerous, whether it's compressed or not. Whether it's compressed a lot or compressed a little.
If you don't know what Zach's talking about, get a copy of Led Zeppelin's One, and there's a great photo on the album cover of what happens when hydrogen goes wrong.
Historical photo. But it is, I think I'm with you. It's exciting because, you burn hydrogen is widely available, and when you burn it, you just get water. You step away from a lot of the issues of burning gasoline, but you keep coming back to that thing where gasoline is like pretty energy dense, really. And even though something like 70% of a combustion inside an engine, a typical gasoline engine, turns into heat and is wasted energy, you still get a lot of bang out of just a little bit of material with gasoline.
I think there's a larger conversation here. And again, Zach and I try to keep everything within the envelope of motorcycling. But I'm actually reading a really good book. But I did bring
up dirigibles, so you're fair to bring up whatever you want at this point.
I'm about to. I'm reading a book right now by Lawrence McDonald called How to Listen When the Markets Speak. And it's actually a really interesting look at Fed policy in the United States and how it's affected a wide range of stock market issues. All right, timer's going off. I get it. And really what that policy has done. But in the book, he also talks about, natural resource consumption, we're trying to go green. We're trying to come up with EV vehicles. That does have its own problem when you're talking about, minerals and other aspects of core fundamentals you're pulling out of the earth. The other thing he talks about is just the worldwide reliance on coal and oil and gasoline. It's not going away, and how actually hydrogen is something that deserves more attention and exploration. So if you're looking for some light reading while you're at the beach this fall, I guess, or the end of the summer, you can check out Lawrence McDonald's How to Listen When the Markets Speak, and if nothing else, you'll have a real enthralling read on your hand.
Indeed. Okay, so just to summarize,
a lot to pack up there. So pack it up, Zach. Let's summarize exactly what we just said.
Kawasaki debuted a motorcycle that runs on hydrogen. It looks wacky. You should check out the article on Common Tread. It's interesting. You can make your own opinions, and you can use some of ours if you want to. We don't mind.